Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
There's nothing better than watching an offense bust out. And against Toronto, it was the former J, Edwin Encarnacion, who led the hit parade. Tonight, Danny Salazar returns from the disabled list to make his first start in almost 2 months. The importance of this start cannot be overstated for both the Tribe and Salazar, who finds himself pitching for a spot in the rotation next on Sports Time Ohio. Another beautiful evening. It will be warm once again in downtown Cleveland, and another sellout crowd pouring into Progressive Field to watch the Indians take on the Toronto Blue Jays. It's game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Tribe broke out last night with a huge offensive performance led by Edwin Encarnacion, who, when he gets hot, he can definitely carry an offense. We saw him do that last month. Can he do it again is the question.
Let's certainly hope so, because he hurt his former team with this home run number 20 on the year. He is now homered against all 30 clubs in baseball, but it didn't stop there. He had a double. It drove in a pair of runs, which was the big hit. It gave the Indians a lead. They were able to add on from that point on. But this is the guy you need to get hot, to drive in the runs. He's paid to do that against his former team, though. He has had a good year, and hopefully that can continue.
The big story tonight, without question, Danny Salazar's return to the starting rotation. How long it lasts is clearly up to him. The question is, can he work himself back into the rotation by being more efficient? Because that seems to be the key.
Well, it is a key. He's blessed with an arm that he can throw the ball in the mid-90s. He has a terrific changeup. He can also throw the slider or curveball. But sometimes he gets in trouble with a lot of foul balls, and he walks too many hitters. But Danny, he's got to go out there, try to be aggressive. You know, it's been 7 weeks since he's pitched, and you can see on the year he has struggled. Less than 6 innings in each of the last 5 starts. He's going up against a tough customer that doesn't give up a lot of runs. Marcus Strowman, sinker ball pitcher, beat the Indians on May 8th. So he's got his work cut out for him, but we'd love to see Salazar get back into this rotation because the Indians need him.
All right, coming up next, we've got the first pitch, plus Alan Jensen have the Showstopper, and they'll talk about a former Indian who headlines that part of our program. And Andre Knott has the latest on a big charity event earlier today involving the Indians. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
Tonight, the Tribe will see if they can take Game 2 in this 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Welcome back to Progressive Field alongside Jensen Lewis. Al Pulowski. It is time now for the Showstopper, and that is a former Cleveland Indian, now a Detroit Tiger, Victor Martinez, who had a big night last night. A couple of home runs, 3 runs batted in the Tigers' 6-3 win over Minnesota. He now has 8 ribbies in his last 5 games.
Yeah, last 2 weeks, Al, he has been red hot, hitting .347. 2 of those 3 homers he's hit coming last night in a big win against Minnesota. Tell you, Detroit, even after trading JD Martinez, they're not going away. They've been doing a lot of favors for the Indians thus far, and hopefully they'll be able to continue that tonight.
Well, tonight the Indians will see if they can increase the distance, if they can win, and teams like Kansas City and Minnesota lose. Let's go upstairs for the call of tonight's game. Matt Underwood and Rick Manning have that. Fellas, take it away.
All right, thanks, Al. And of course, the story that we will be following all night long is Danny Salazar's return to the starting rotation as he takes the hill tonight for the Indians, and a big start for both himself and for the ball club as they try to look forward. They open the night with a 1.5 game lead in the American League Central Division. At least that's where they stood when the day began. Kansas City, though, they're right there nipping at their heels. And so another opportunity tonight for the Indians as they take on this Toronto Blue Jays ball club. Let's go downstairs now to Andre Knott.
Well, thank you very much, Matt. Big day for the Indians organization before this game starts here in a couple minutes. Today was the Velosano Bike to Cure race today, where they raised money for charities for cancer. A lot of people involved with the organization actually rode. Our own Sandy Alomar was able to ride 50 miles today, rode his bike all the way to Solon and was able to come back here. It's a big day for the Indians charities. Almost $3,000 or $3 million already made today. You can still give money until October. We also sat down in tonight's Hear Right Sounds of the Game with Sandy Alomar on the importance of the Bike to Cure race.
Anytime you get to ride for a cause is great. You get to enjoy time and mingle with people that you don't know, and get to meet new friends and ride for something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy cycling, so even more if it's for a cause.
Thank you, Andre, and as always, thanks to Sandy and all the members of the organization who participated. I know Nelson Perez, one of the strength coaches, was out there biking today along with Bart Swain. It's a great event, and I know Paul Dolan is a huge member of the Velosano team as well. He's out there pedaling that bike, getting ready for it all summer long. Now it's time to turn our attention to tonight's game. Danny Salazar getting loose out on the mound. Let's take a look at the lineup he will face for the Blue Jays under manager John Gibbons, brought to you by Hankook Tires. Jose Bautista in the leadoff spot. Russell Martin bats second. Josh Donaldson, former MVP, will hit third. Justin Smoke, Kendry Morales, and Steve Pearce in the middle. Then it's Kevin Pillar, Ryan Goins, and Darwin Barney getting the start at second base tonight, batting 9th.
Danny Salazar is our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the night. His last start, May 27. So he's coming out. I bet he has a few butterflies, but hopefully that shoulder and the arm is feeling good. Danny is 3-5 on the year. 5.40. His problem has been the first 2 innings, where his ERA has been up there throughout the course of this year. He's had his issues. As a matter of fact, it's something that he's got to try, and a hurdle he's going to have to try and get over. He is 2-1 in his career against Toronto, although he had a start earlier this year. They scored a lot of runs for him, but he could not get the decision. We'll check out the defense behind Danny tonight, brought to you by Ram. It'll be Brantley in left, Zimmer in center, Almonte in right. Urshela gets a start at third, Lindor at short, Ramirez is at second, Santana at first, and Gomes doing the catching.
Scott Berry will call the balls and strikes this evening. Ed Hickox at first, Quinn Walcott at second. Crew chief Brian Honora will be down at third. Giovanni Urshela at third base, getting an opportunity for some extended playing time, and Jose Ramirez goes over to second base with Urshela in the lineup tonight. And we're ready to go now as Salazar's first pitch is swung on and missed. Jose Bautista was 1 for 5 last night with a double, stolen base, and a run scored. He doubled to start the game. All his damage came in his first at bat. Other than that, though, he has really been in a free fall offensively. And Salazar strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Well, didn't mess around. Came out with 3 straight fastballs, and he said, let's go. There's no mystery here. I'm going to throw you the fastball. He swung at the first one, and he takes the third one right there on the outside part of the plate. 1 hitter, 1 strikeout for Danny.
Russell Martin, 0 for 4, struck out twice last night. Swings at the first fastball, and all he can do is foul it back. The first inning has been a problem spot for Danny Salazar. 5 times in his 10 starts, he's allowed runs in the first inning. And only once in his 10 starts has he worked a 1-2-3 first inning. So he's had to work hard, even when he hasn't given up runs in some of those innings. He's had to really grind his way through it.
First and second inning. Yep.
Oh man, perfect pitch. Didn't get the call for whatever reason, and it's 1-2.
I really like what he's doing because he's coming out and he's establishing the fastball. But it's been all fastballs, an 0-2 count. That's an excellent pitch away.
There it is. That one was at 98 and it had movement. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the night.
I think to say he's a little pumped up is outstanding, but you know, he's throwing strikes. He's commanding the fastball. There you have it, plain and simple.
How many times I have heard you say, from your experience and from that hitter's perspective, if you can get through early in the game with just your fastball, moving it in and out, up and down, then the hitter hasn't seen your secondary stuff. He doesn't have anything else to go on, so you give them something different to think about the next time you face them.
Absolutely. You don't show them anything, man. Here's my fastball, and it sticks in their mind.
But we saw Danny at times this year throwing first inning changeups, second, third pitch of the game.
I know it, but for him it's so important because his arm, I mean, he's throwing mid-90s coming out of the chute. You know, it takes a hitter a while to get geared up to catch up to 95. I don't care how good you are.
Well, he has definitely got a little extra boost tonight. The 1-1 is up high.
Yeah, you can tell that his heart is pumping, and he's on a mission.
Back out of play.
That one had a little movement to it, like it was a 2-seamer at 96. It wasn't a 4-seamer. So if his 2-seamer's at 96, he is throwing hard early.
Oh, he just blew it right by him. 97-mile-an-hour fastball takes care of Donaldson. And Danny Salazar's return to the starting rotation starts with a bang. First, and as I understand it, they're a little pumped up. Andre.
Very pumped up. I think every time fans ask you about being around players, I always say they're human beings. They're just like the rest of us. There was like a lump in the throat of every player on this team to see what Danny Salazar would be like in that first inning. When they came off, you would have thought they just won the World Series. How hyped up and happy they were to see him come out in this game. Let's see if it can continue on as we go. But that was a good start for Danny and this team.
Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Zimmer, Lindor, Brantley at the top. Eddie, Jose, Santana in the middle. Almonte, Gomes, and Urshela rounded out. Every pitch Salazar threw in the top of the first was 95 or above. Marcus Strowman lines it up. He fires, and Zimmer slaps it foul over the dugout. Zimmer 1 for 4 last night. Couple of runs batted in. And he takes that fastball. It's 0-2. Way outside.
Well, Marcus Strowman, he's a ground ball machine. He throws his sinker most of the time, about 60% of the time, but he has a slider, a little curve, a four-seam fastball, a cutter, but you're going to see basically a sinker slider mix. Second among ground ball percentages in all of baseball.
Zimmer fouls that back.
And he has certainly been their best starter this year.
Think it's humid. He's already sweating through his jersey, and we just started. Ground ball, hard hit to second. Barney scoops it up. 1 down.
Let's take a look at Marcus Strowman, who is our Hyundai starting pitcher for the Jays. He's 9-5 with a 310 and 119 innings. He's given up 118 hits. 98 strikeouts, but he leads the league in ground ball double plays. He has 21 of those because he throws so many grounders. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. Hasn't allowed a home run in his last 4 starts, covering 26 1/3 innings.
Francisco Lindor taken all the way. Fastball in there for a strike. 1 for 4. He doubled last night, giving him 29. One behind his teammate Jose Ramirez. Leads the league. He's in the hole 0-2. 82 and very humid here at game time. Sellout crowd for the second night in a row. And Strowman took a little something off and gets his first strikeout. 2 down.
Let's check the Jays defense, brought to you by WB Mason. It's Pearson left, Pilar in center, Bautista in right, Donaldson at third, Goins at short, Barney is at second, Smoke at first with Martin catching.
Strowman, another guy, doesn't have much of a windup. He almost starts like he's out of the stretch. One little kick and go. Fastball for a strike.
We'll see if he pauses it all tonight. I remember the last time we faced him, you know how he comes set, sometimes he'll hold that front leg up. Maybe sometimes when you get guys on base. Already seen a couple of changeups by him now. Threw one to Zimmer, what he grounded out on, and one right there to Michael Brantley.
Brantley 0 for 4 last night, but he did reach a couple of times, stole a base, scored 2 runs. That was low, but This umpiring crew has already shown a penchant for calling the low out of the zone strike.
Well, that should help Strowman out because he likes to keep that ball down.
Just missed inside. He thought he had it.
Yeah, he's looking in there. He wanted it called, but it might have been just a ball with off the plate. Really a good pitch and a tough one to take, but it did look like it was a little bit inside.
We're back in there again. Brantley did not lay off, says Brian Honora. And the Siders retired in order. A couple of strikeouts for Strowman. We are scoreless after 1. Danny Salazar, fastball command. And for Marcus Strowman, that slider can be a weapon for him. We'll keep an eye on both of those things. Both pitchers working 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Justin Smoak leads off the second. Ouch. He dances out of the way.
Oh, I thought it hit him.
A fastball that
he got out of the way.
97 miles an hour. Yanked that one.
Yes, he did, but boy, it did. It got out. It got the umpires. What it did, it short hopped into the shin guard.
Hit hard to first, but right there is Santana. 1 away.
Well, Salazar came out on fire, and he did nothing but throw fastballs. And I mean, he had command of it. Every one of them over 95. But the amazing thing, most of them in the strike zone. And he struck out the side. And that's exactly, I mean, you wanted to see a nice 1, 2, 3. That's his best first inning of the year, without a doubt.
Kendry Morales takes a strike. Switch hitter. 1 for 3 with a run batted in last night. And he just waves at that fastball up the ladder. Yan Gomes is just putting down the #1, moving the target around.
Well, you can see how the hitters, they can't catch up to it.
No.
Even this year when he wasn't on his game, but he's still throwing over 33% swings and misses. I thought more pitchers should do this, and then you know, when they do get on base or anything, you have your fastball command already, and then that's when you start working in your changeup or your breaking ball or your off-speed pitches.
Took a little something off that one for the first time tonight. Morales weakly rolls over, 2 down. Andre.
Well, Matt, Rick, the one thing that Mickey Callaway told me they really wanted to work on with Danny Salazar was getting his legs in coordination or rhythm with his arm. They felt like earlier in the year his arm was ahead of his legs, and they felt like that's why some of the balls would fly out of the strike zone, and he had no command. So they said that was the first thing they did. They basically broke him down to the point of getting him back to just throwing the ball and having his legs lead him before his arm.
You know, and the one thing, if you can get guys to put the ball in play early in a count, that's certainly going to help. And when you command the fastball, it's going to help you. A lot of times he gets ahead, he just tries to throw as hard as he can to get the swing and miss.
Breaking ball, weakly grounded to third.
Good inning.
Shella throws him out. 6 up, 6 down. He goes through 4, 5, and 6 hitters on 9 pitches here in the second.
#1 live streaming sports service is better than ever. Watch every out-of-market game live at home, in the office, or on the go for just $19.99. Visit MLB TV for the details.
Edwin Encarnacion to lead off the home half of the second. And a fastball strike. Edwin, over his last 55 games now, has batted .302 with 15 homers and 42 runs batted in. And if you, I guess if you break that down, you think about, well, 55 games, that's roughly a third of the season.
It's 2 months.
So if you triple up those numbers, you're talking about a monster year. It's just he got off to a slow start, and I don't think it's piling on to say he's been inconsistent. He's had stretches where he looks like he's going to go off and hit about 20 home runs in a month. And then he's had stretches where you wonder if he'll ever hit another one.
Well, you know what? I don't care about the home runs as much as I care about driving in the runs and being consistent in that aspect of the lineup. That's where this team needs him.
He's got company in that category. Unfortunately, the runners in scoring position averages for many of the top guys that you count on just have not been very good. I mean, Eddie's hitting .208.
Right.
You've got Santana hitting .247, which is really good by comparison. And
Lindor.
Lindor's batting 250 now, which is much better than where he was at before.
And they're getting the bulk of the at bats. You know, Ramirez has held his own. He's been the consistent one, but he needs a little help.
Strowman slowly winds it up to 1-2, and that's fouled back. But last night was one of those examples of, you know, how you wonder, why is it so hard to get those hits with runners in scoring position when they go game upon game without being able to get? And then last night, where they get 8, 6, 7, 8?
They had 8, as many as we've had all road trip for a 6-game series. But when you don't get them, they're that much tougher. When you get them, you make them look easy.
Smash to third. Donaldson makes the catch there for out number 1.
And a lot of times it's not as easy as they look. Well, Encarnacion was 2 for 2 off of Strowman earlier this year. It's a line drive, but it's right into the tracks at Donaldson, so it's okay. Good first at bat.
It will bring up Jose Ramirez. 2 for 4 last night, another double with his 30th of the year. Jose and Mookie Betts began the day tied for the lead in doubles in the AL with 30. Called a strike, looked a little high, 1-1. Ramirez also second in the league in triples with 5. Castellanos of the Tigers has 7. Jose also third in the league in batting average now. Smashed into right field. He's got another base hit. This one is the first of the game.
Yeah, he just has a knack of finding the hole. It doesn't matter where it is, whether it's the right side, the left side, line drives. He just continues to pile up the hits, and possibly a 200 hit season for Jose. He topped this ball.
Got 117 of those, and only Altuve of the Astros has more.
You know, but you see the top spin on it. Even though Strowman's a ground ball pitcher, he got enough of it. And don't tell me he's looking at a finger like he has a blister. That's what they just put Sanchez on the DL for again.
For the 4th time this year, he's on the DL with a blister problem. Strowman continues to look at that pitching finger, though, and that has to be a little bit concerning to John Gibbons and company, especially with the way the Indians went through their bullpen last night.
I remember he was one of those guys that complained about the baseballs maybe 3 weeks ago.
Oh man, right back to him. An easy double play to end the inning. 2 in the books. No score in Cleveland.
For kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. The seats are located in the family deck near the kids clubhouse and are only available at Indians.com.
Tell you what, Arch, these two guys have come out throwing nothing but strikes. They're both right at 76% strikes through 2 innings. Indians do have a hit, but the double play got Strowman out of the inning. We'll see when he comes back if there's any issue with that finger, because when that double play was turned, he literally ran off the field and up the tunnel to the clubhouse.
Okay. I think it's an issue he's been dealing with.
And the pitching coach was quickly behind him. There's a line drive into center field and a base hit for the Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar collects their first hit to start this 3rd inning. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Our buddy Joe Smith just came off the DL today for the Toronto Blue Jays, so he's active in the bullpen. They said so long to the left-hander Beliveau pitched last night. They designated him for assignment, but Aaron Sanchez back on the DL. 4th time this year with a blister problem. You talk about frustrating.
Yeah.
At one point he came off this year. He was off for 1 day, and they put him right back on.
Made a pitch. They took him out of the ball game and went right back on.
Ryan Goins pops it back out of play. Goins, you look at his numbers, you think, that's not a very good year. He's one of those guys, it's weird. When there's nobody on base or where there's nothing at stake, he's been terrible. You put guys in scoring position, load the bases, make it 2 outs and tough. That's when he's been at his best.
That concentration level goes up a bit when you get guys on base, and you know that's what we call about when you give up at bats. Sometimes hitters have a tendency to give up at bats. Well, you got to concentrate all the time. A nice comeback heater there by Salazar.
Boy, he has done his work against the Tribe too. 5 hits, including a home run. Double play ball here. Ramirez will run right at him. He'll make the throw to Santana. Now they'll go down to second. They've got him in the rundown. He lost his footing, and Pillar's tagged out by Ramirez. 2 away.
Yeah, they did that well. Ramirez did it second. He realized that Pillar could go nowhere, so he threw it to first base to get the out, and then Santana comes up, give it up early, let him run it back. All right, right there. Nice job, and then Pillar slips and tags him out easily for the double play.
And with 2 down, here's Darwin Barney.
So the Indians return the favor.
Threw it by him. Darwin Barney, just 1 hit in his last 18 at-bats. Came on late in the game last night as a pinch runner. Salazar trying to put him away here with the 0-2 pitch. And a little low. Danny, 30 pitches now, 24 though have been strikes, and that's encouraging to see him come out with the efficiency in which he's been able to throw.
5-0-2 counts.
Got him. They went chasing, and Danny Salazar has his 4th strikeout. 1 hit allowed, first time through the order. No score, middle of the 3rd. eye on him and see if that finger issue, he keeps looking at it.
So he sure does.
Got to be something maybe there that he's dealing with. No score. Bottom of the third, bottom third of the order due up for Cleveland, and we're joined by a man who never batted to the bottom third of the order, Carlos Baerga. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, guys?
We're doing awesome.
Very good.
Well, I'm doing very good to watch Salazar throwing the way he throws.
Well, you're not kidding. This is something that we've been wanting to see, and he has responded to the challenge so far here tonight.
If he's healthy, he's going to help us a lot.
He's throwing. He's very aggressive with his fastball tonight, which we like to see.
So Marcus Strowman facing Abe Almonte, who shows bunt, takes a strike. We were talking last inning. Jose Ramirez is having a phenomenal season. I know you've watched him and watched his growth. Arch was saying, he's got a chance maybe at a 200-hit season. He's sitting there at 117 hits now. You did that with back-to-back seasons for the Indians. Just how difficult, what are the challenges of getting to that 200-hit plateau?
It's hard. You have to really do, especially when you're a switch hitter. You have to really, concentrate, at least get one hit, 1 for 3 or 2 hits, almost every day. You have to do something like that. And right now he's going through a moment that he's hitting like for 33 days over 400.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's in a nice role.
He and Altuve, he went 5 days in a row getting 3 hits.
Yeah. First player to do that since George Brett back in the 70s.
You know what I like about him? His attitude, his confidence at the plate. He's not afraid of anybody who's pitching.
Right.
When you have that in your mind, that's what I used to have. I don't care who's pitching. I know I'm gonna try to get a hit. And I learned something from a veteran player, Paul Molitor. He say, when you're struggling, at least you need to get a walk or get a one-base hit.
Right.
And that's something that Jose Ramirez tries to do all the time. And if you make contact, a lot of things can happen.
Right.
And that's what he have. He make contact.
Yeah, he doesn't try to pull a ball. He doesn't try to hit home runs. Now, one thing I want to ask you, Carlos, we have 4 switch hitters on this team. Tell the people how difficult it is to keep your swing from each side of the plate every day.
You have to work the same
amount of time
from both sides. You gotta do it just one side. Today I'm gonna work on right-handed because it's a lefty, or is it a righty? I'm gonna do it from the left side. No, you have to work both sides of the plate the same way, and you have to keep yourself ready, stretch a lot, because you can put a rib cage anytime.
Yeah,
if you don't do that. So it takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of preparation for the game, and that's what that's why Lindor and Jose Ramirez, they're one of the best.
Yeah. They have a very similar swing from both sides of the plate.
Yeah.
Their approach.
Short and quick. They are not long. Lindor got 40 home runs, and Ramirez got already a lot of home runs, but they are land dry hitters.
Right.
They hit the ball everywhere. That's something that I'm trying to be. I talked to Lindor yesterday a little bit about, his swing. I see his swing this year a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I say, last year you hit a lot of, you a land dry hitter with pop. You remind me myself, you are like Jose Ramirez. And he gonna hit with experience. He gonna hit 30 home runs. I believe he gonna hit 30 home runs. But he has to hit more land drive and put it in the ball in play more.
3 ground balls, all to the third baseman. The Indians go 1, 2, 3. It went so quickly that we've got to keep Carlos around for another half inning. Great pitched ball game on both sides so far. Salazar is at his best, and Marcus Strowman has been no slouch. Each has allowed just one hit through the first 3 innings. So back to the top of the order. Each has faced the minimum first time through as well. We're visiting with Carlos Baerga. I wanted to mention one more thing. You talked about working with Francisco Lindor, and I know that for him, just hearing words of encouragement from you is a huge deal for him, because he told me growing up in Puerto Rico, one of the teams that they watched down there was the Indians, because of guys like you and Juan Gonzalez and Robbie Alomar. I mean, because of and Sandy Alomar, the Puerto Rican connection, the Indians were one of his teams. What is it like, though, for you now? Because I still think of you as that young kid, playing for the Indians, to be a guy where this kid said, I remember watching you play when I was a kid, and now he's in the big leagues.
You know what? It's really an honor for me to be part of the Cleveland Indians first, to be part of what we have here. We have a lot of our team is going to be good for a long time, and that's what I'm very happy about it. And I believe, watching Lindor, watching Jose Ramirez, watching even the shortstop, the tall guy, Gonzalez. He's a good player too. And then you add a guy like Encarnacion. You have one of my favorite players is the center fielder,
Brad Zimmer.
This guy's gonna be, I'm telling you, this guy's gonna be a monster in the big leagues.
They have some good young talent.
Oh
absolutely.
My God, we going to a right direction, and then Michael Bradley is gonna get better and better. A month through a month. I know the power hasn't been there like it used to be, but when you come in with a surgery, the way he had last year, that's going to happen. But I believe we have the best team right now in the field. We're missing Kipney too. So
yeah, well, hopefully he won't be gone too much longer. I know he's antsy. He's itching to try and get back there and get in the lineup. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. Right now, Russell Martin, 1-2 count, pops one high in the air. This might be playable. Santana, no.
All right, I want you to explain a little bit too. Salazar coming out today trying to establish that fastball in the first inning, and you were a guy that hit in the first inning a lot if you were facing him. Tell him how tough it is to hit a fastball when your first at bat, whether it's in or out.
When you are not ready, you always take the first at bat. You take a lot of pitches just to see the movement of the ball. How fast he's throwing, stuff like that. But he came out throwing the fastball right for a strike.
Yeah,
he wasn't throwing the ball.
Both in and out.
In and outside. And then, the second inning, he come back with the ball inside to the lefty, stuff like that. That's the Salazar that we know.
Right.
That's the Salazar that when he has the fastball, the change is going to be better. The breaking ball is going to be better because he's grabbing the ball. He's strong. He's feeling strong. So that's the guy that we need, for us in the second half right now.
Yeah, and he came out tonight throwing 96, 97. I think he even hit 98 all in the first inning.
Couple times.
See, I think his problems were more mental than physical. Because, he came up, he had the bad shoulder, but this guy's been blessed with an arm that throwing the fastball and his changeup is so goofy, and it's good. Hitters can't pick it up. This guy sometimes is his own worst enemy because he tries to throw too many pitches.
When he got hurt, before when he went to the DL, he was walking a lot of guys.
Right.
His control was all over the place.
A lot of pitches early in the game.
Yeah, so that's the guy that, that's the guy, the pitcher that he is. You remember last year, the first half, he was dealing.
Right.
Going after everybody, and everybody say we have the best pitching staff. When you have Kluber, Carrasco, and him healthy, we are unstoppable.
Well, that's what they're hoping for, is they can get a healthy Danny Salazar in the second half.
Foul back. Russell Martin putting up a good at bat here.
Our bullpen has been really good. When you have Miller and Allen doing the job, Shaw, I know Logan is hurt, but the guy that we bring,
Tyler Olson.
Tyler Olson, I think he can.
Well, they had a couple of hiccups on the road, and I think it's more because offensively they weren't scoring any runs, and they didn't help out the bullpen.
Yeah.
The 3-2 is popped up on the infield. Boy, Salazar prevails, and Urshela will make the catch, 2 down. Well, this is what we were talking about back in the first inning. Danny came out and really established his fastball.
Right from the very first pitch, he's challenging you. Here you go, hitters. Let's see if you can get it. Little 2-seamer, some 4-seamers up. He didn't throw a breaking ball till his 20th pitch.
And the 3 hitters that he faced, the first 3, they're fastball hitters.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
Kill the fastball.
I know they do. That's what I'm saying. That's how blessed his arm is.
Yeah, so we need him healthy. We need him, mentally strong. I think that's the key right there. You say, man, if he's mentally strong, he's going to help us a lot. And we need it now in the second half, to finish strong and we get ready for the playoffs.
Well, yes, you need a tough, you need an angry, you need a controlled Danny Salazar.
Yes. We need Chisenhall back too.
Yeah.
Chisenhall showing, now the power that we waiting for
and
from him.
Every team goes through injuries, and you have to play through them. You can't make excuses. But when those guys come back, they got to be ready to take off.
Oh, yeah.
The people that are getting the chances now, the Gonzaleses, the Urshela's, and whoever is filling in for the guys that are hurt, they've got to do their job. Good enough to win.
That's what we need.
Down in the dirt, Donaldson lays off. I'll tell you what. In this at bat, we've watched Salazar. I mean, he's painting down and away, 97 at the knees, and Donaldson's like, I can't even try to hit that.
He's ahead in all accounts. He's aggressive. He's 0-2, 1-2. The first time through out of 9 guys, he had 4 or 5 0-2 counts, and here's another 0-2, 1-2 count.
Went to a breaking ball, but he missed with it. 2-2.
Another guy they're going to come out with in the second half to explode is going to be Santana too, with the power and the RBIs. I think we are blessed to have Almonte. Almonte is a great guy to come out from the bench and help us a lot. Last year, I think he's doing it this year too. So we need those.
He had a good night last night.
Yeah.
A triple, 3-run homer, and a single.
The 2-2. Got him looking.
Good change.
Danny Salazar is fan 5, and he's given up 1 hit. Only 1 base runner allowed through the first 4. Carlos, great to catch up. Carlos Baerga stopping by here tonight.
Thanks, Carlito.
Day 2 later in the game for Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Rick, is there a more energetic, positive person than Carlos Baerga?
No, he's been that way his whole life. When he was coming up playing, he would talk. He would never, shut up. He was chirping on the field from batting practice until you went home. But he loves the game of baseball, and he's very passionate about it, and he helps the Indians out a lot now.
And he loves his team.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
you
sure
listen
does.
to him talk him up there. He's excited about everybody wearing the uniform. Top of the order, here's Bradley Zimmer, grounded out his only time up, and takes a strike. I think a lot of times we look back at those mid-90s teams that Baerga was a part of, obviously, the '95 team that went to the World Series, and he was traded midway through the '96 campaign, but that was already his 7th year in the major leagues.
Yeah, he came and he brought this franchise from the old ballpark into the new ballpark with Charlie Nagy and Albert Bell and Kenny Lofton and Sandy Alomar. That was the core back then.
Swung on and missed. He got him. In fact, I'd have to go back and look, but I think his back-to-back 200-hit seasons were in the old stadium.
Oh, they were. 92 and 93. They were.
So you think about that wasn't here at the with the hitting palace that this became.
That was a much tougher ballpark to hit in. Absolutely right.
Third strikeout for Strowman.
Like he said, you're trying to get 200 hits, and you've got, first of all, you got to play almost every game. And after that, you've got to be productive almost every game, because you don't have a chance. 200 hits that is very difficult. You know, some guys can run, some guys can't. You know, Baerga wasn't a fast runner.
Oh, he earned every hit.
Yeah, I mean, those little choppy legs of his running down the first baseline look like Fred Flintstone going down the baseline. But he could hit.
I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Paul Wayne. Somebody in that documentary they did on the '90s Indians, they said the first time they saw Baerga, he said it looked like a penguin trying to play baseball.
Yeah, well, that penguin could hit. He could play.
Yes, he could. The 2-0, and that's down in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes.
That is the first 2-0 count on any hitter tonight. That's how aggressive both these pitchers have been.
And that's ball 4. He missed 4 straight, and the Indians have a 1-out walk here in the 4th, just their second base runner of the game. Our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. Indians offense this season. And the 3rd inning, I mentioned it last night, for whatever reason, the 3rd and 4th innings has been where they have made a lot of headway this year. They've outscored the opposition by 40 runs in the 3rd inning and by 16 runs in the 4th inning. So those 2 innings combined, and that's been, you know, maybe it's a case where it's all right, you're getting your second look at the pitcher. Maybe you've figured something out. You've made an adjustment.
Well, yeah, usually you're going over through the second time, and you're getting through the heart of the lineup again. Well, this is a guy, though, Strowman, he's just 1 pitch away from 2 outs because he does have a double play tonight. That's his 22nd ground ball that he's been able to induce, and he leads all of baseball. So when you get guys on, he's a sinker baller, but his is a hard sinker. It's tough to elevate and get that ball in the air unless he gets it upstairs, maybe with his slider.
Taken for a strike.
And you just see the movement. It's just, this guy has a tough time throwing it straight. Not a very tall guy where he can leverage down on the baseball, but he's very strong.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out here in the 4th. No score. Lindor stolen 4 out of 5 on the year.
I was going to say, this is one guy you may want to try and steal against. I think you can do it. I'm going to get a time on him, but
up and away, full count. Now Brantley struck you out his first time up, but with a 3-2 count, would you be averse to turning Lindor loose right
I would start the runner, because a ground ball, you can stay out of the double play. I would go ahead and start it. There's nothing going on. You might find a hole and you can 1st and 3rd him. So I would be aggressive here.
Lindor's off, and Brantley pulls it foul toward the Toronto dugout.
You know, you just figure Michael's going to put it in play. Even if he does strike out, you could still steal a base. Although you're not looking as a base runner to get that big jump like it is a stolen base. But, you know, no score in this game. Let's go. You got to make something happen. Both these guys are throwing the ball well. And Lindor, you know, he's only tried 5 attempts this year.
He's off again.
There you go.
Chopped in the hole, base hit. Lindor will go to third.
Exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get a, you know, Brantley didn't hit that ball hard, but it was placed perfectly. You start your runner, you get him to third base. That's exactly what you're looking for.
George Poulos, the trainer, is coming out with John Gibbons to check on Marcus Strowman, who's been dealing with some kind of issue on his pitching hand. He's been repeatedly looking down at, it looks like the middle finger on his pitching hand that he has looked at over and over again here tonight. And now it may have come to a head.
Well, that sinker that he threw to Brantley was upstairs a little bit. I don't know, but he's been looking at it ever since the first inning that we've noticed. They're on the telephone. He's going to stay in there right now. He's still trying to get that double play ball. I mean, just watch him, how he reacts. Looking down, it's his middle finger. But he did come back and get the double play. And, you know, that's where he sprinted to the dugout and back up to the trainer's room to get something on that finger. And he keeps wiping it off. And I don't know if it's burning or whatever's happening over there. Well, if there's a hot spot or whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, exactly, because Andre talked with Andrew Miller on the last road trip, and that's how he described it. Not a blister, but a hot spot.
Right. Okay. Well, then different terminology, however you want to look at it, but something's affecting him.
Well, now Edwin with a chance to do some damage. First and third, one out, and a ground ball right at Donaldson, who bobbles it. His only play is at first, and the Indians take the lead.
What a break. Inning should be over, and it's the veteran Donaldson that couldn't turn the double play. The Indians catch a break there. Instead of a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play, they get the out, but the Indians score the run because it was first and third. He just didn't come up with it cleanly, and once he dropped it, his only play was first base. So the Indians have a run on the board. That's a break.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where it doesn't show up in the box score because there won't be an error charge.
Right.
But it's costly because it very well could have been a double play to end the inning.
Now we'll see how Strowman attacks Ramirez here with first base open, who had the only hit of the ball game before this inning, or against Strowman. He bounced one through the right side at his first at bat.
Down in the dirt. Nice scoop by Martin.
He may save a few bullets here, but and just put him on, but he's going to go ahead and try and pitch to him.
Way outside, 3-0.
Yeah, and Jose just going to sit down there and wait for something he likes. I think he has it all figured out here.
And he didn't come close. So ball 4, and the Indians have 2 on with 2 out, and Carlos Santana coming up. And as you said, that looked to be unintentionally intentional.
That's exactly what it was. He was going to see, and Gibbons trusted his pitcher enough to go ahead, and if he doesn't throw a strike, I might have, with his finger having issues, I might have just put him on to save the pitches.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's on first. It's first and second. It's 2 outs, and Santana has a chance to do some real damage here with 2 outs. Just get a base hit and really make it hurt.
Hit hard. Oh, what a pick by Smoke at first base. right into his glove, and that'll end the inning. But the Indians get the first run of the game. 1-0 Cleveland through 4. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud. One nothing Indians as we go to the 5th inning. Danny Salazar has thrown 1-hit baseball through 4, has struck out 5 Blue Jays hitters. Justin Smoke grounded out his only time up.
Thing I like about Salazar tonight, 6 outs, 3 pitches or less. I believe he has 9 0-2 1-2 counts. Excuse me, 8.
Out of play. Got in on him, and he popped it sky high and foul out of play.
I'll tell you one thing, though, that I've noticed this year in the times I've seen Smoke swing the bat, he's got great plate coverage this year. He's getting on top of high fastballs from the left side of the plate. He's covering the plate. He has good power the other way. This guy's a tough out right now.
That's going to be a foul ball by a foot or so.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, he's over the 300 mark, 26 homers, 63 ribbies. Changeup. That's why he was able to get that ball down the first baseline. I didn't think he'd pull that fastball like that.
Whoa, outside, breaking ball.
All right, breaking ball that got away from him. He hasn't had a good, I don't know if he was trying to throw a curveball there or that might have been a slider. But we haven't seen many of those tonight.
Swung on and missed. Whoa, look at that fastball at 97 off the plate. And that's strikeout number 6 now for Danny Salazar.
Well, it's just it's like a dart right on the outside edge, man. It takes off. It was a ball width outside at 97, and you get the swing and miss. What a great pitch. Catch up to that. If you can hit that, you're a man.
Henry Morales grounded out his only time up. And it's right into the teeth of the shift, and that's Jose Ramirez out there in shallow right, pulling that in for out number 2.
Jose's going to get it. Now we're going to put it down as a line out to right field. It was shallow right field. Look how deep he is there, but I mean, that was like a strike. You can't throw a better strike to Ramirez that was standing in the right spot. Now that's good defensive positioning right there.
Popped up foul. Santana over.
Stay in.
Reaches in. No, it's on top of the dugout.
Well, and the reason why I say that is because normally this year Danny has averaged over 18.5 pitches per inning to get through him. Tonight he has a chance to get out of this 5th inning if he can get this out in the next 2 with 60 pitches. He's at 58 right now. And he has his 6 strikeouts, but he hasn't walked anybody. Oh, and by the way, he's only given up 1 hit.
This one's coming back our way. Down below it goes. Danny about to make his 60th pitch of the night here, with 2 down and 2 strikes in the 5th inning. Only his 11th pitch of the inning. And a little bit outside.
Well, look at the difference when you can have a 9 pitch, a 10 pitch, a 12 pitch, and possibly another 12 pitch inning.
Got him. Oh, baby. Pierce went fishing without a pole. 7 strikeouts for Danny Salazar. There's one guy clapping out of rhythm over there. See if you can pick him out. 1-0 Indians. Bottom of the 5th coming up here. Bottom 3rd of the order due for the Tribe. Abraham Almonte will lead it off. Yan Gomes and Giovanni Urshela. Chop towards 3rd. It's fine. Great clip of the game from last night. Abraham Almonte with a 3-hit game in the series opener. There was an opposite field triple, a boom opposite field home run, a 3-runner. And just for good measure, an infield single. He told Andre after the game he likes the nickname Abe Ruth.
Does he?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Out of play.
Well, in the first 2 innings, Marcus Strowman was throwing 76% strikes. In that second inning, we noticed he was looking at that spot or his finger a lot. And in innings 3 and 4, that strike percentage went down to 48%. Don't know if it has anything to do with it.
You got 3 ground ball outs, all to the third baseman in the 3rd inning. Then in the 4th, after starting with a strikeout, 4-pitch walk to Lindor. Brantley singled through the hole, and then the misplay by Donaldson got the Indians their only run.
Difference in the ball game, the misplay, the unturned double play.
Popped him up, and this might stay in play.
That's in play.
Donaldson has it. 1 away.
I like starting the runner at 3-2 with Brantley at the plate, Lindor off and running, and Michael just puts it in play and finds the hole. That allows Lindor to go to third base. And then the bullet that was hit by Encarnacion, and just that Donaldson couldn't hang on to it and handle it, could only go for 1 run. And that's how the Indians scored.
And I mean, Edwin hit it so hard, and he doesn't run all that well. So you figure if Donaldson gets that cleanly, that's going to be the end of the inning.
Automatic. It's a 5-4-3 double play.
Well, Yan Gomes grounded out his only time up. Let's go down to Andre.
Well, you know, you talk about Lindor moving on that pitch, and you and I have talked about this, Rick, but I want to bring it out in the open. Lindor keeps telling me he feels like he's a 20 to 25 stolen base guy, but he doesn't want to run in front of Brantley and Edwin, so he kind of finds himself in between in these situations. So what is the best way for him to steal bases, be aggressive,
if you're
but stay out of their way?
You can't. You got to steal bases. You got to pick your pitches. You got to know when you can go. You can't worry about it. If they're going to get a pitch that they can hit, then they're going to hit it. You can't sit there and wait for them and say, I don't want to run and not let them or mess them up. You just go.
Well, I know the one thing that he was told last year when Mike Napoli was here, Tito kind of said, hey, when Nap's up, let's stay on the base paths. But I think this year's a little different, isn't it, and how you want to move guys around?
It would be different. Every year's different. Every game's different. Yeah, I mean, it's something you have to talk to the hitters about. And I can see at times not taking off early in the count when you give the guy a swing of the bat, or you can give Brantley the hole at first base, depending on who's on the mound. There's a lot of different situations that come into play.
Gomes strikes out, 2 down.
Well, I'll give you guys this. Lindor realizes the next step in his game, he has to be a better base stealer. He feels like he has the speed to do it, and he feels like he's letting the team down by not using his legs more than he has so far this season.
I don't look at it that way, Andre, only because Bradley Zimmer stepped in. He's got 10. Brantley's got 11. Jose has 10.
Right.
And Lindor only has 4, but I think because he's been moved around a bit in the order, and he just hasn't had a lot of consistent maybe opportunities.
That's true.
So I don't feel like he's let him down because they've picked it up from other sources. They're not the same running team they were a year ago, simply because Rajay Davis is a whole different dimensional base stealer.
Great point. But I think we know this about Lindor. He wants to be great, and I think when he sees a team not scoring runs, he looks at himself and says, okay, what else could I or should I be doing? I guess is the way he looks at it.
I look at a guy like that, and this is the way I know you've always looked at it, Art, something you taught me years ago. Can you steal a base when you have to?
That's what I'm talking about.
And I think he can. If it's a situational deal, late 7th inning, you need a guy to get in the scoring position, I have no problem giving him the green light saying go get it.
Just because you're getting on base doesn't mean you have to steal bases. There's certain parts of the game or times of a game that are very important to try and steal a base with your offense, to try and get a run in that inning when you can't. And if you're going to be a base stealer, you got to steal 80% of your bases. That's what I would tell him. If you can do that, then you go whenever you want, but make sure it's 80%.
Giovanni Urshela has a 2-2 count here. Gets a fastball, bangs it up the middle, and it's through. And Gio has a hit in each of the last 4 games that he has started now for the Tribe. 2-out base runner will keep it alive for Zimmer. T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. And last night, Chris Sale only went 6 innings, but struck out 9 and got the win against the Angels. He's punched out 200 already. Bradley Zimmer has grounded out and he has struck out here tonight. Chops one up the gut. This one, though, is scooped, and Ryan Goins throws out Zimmer. We've played 5. It's Cleveland 1, Toronto nothing. Dealers, the Indians have 1 run on the board, and this guy has made it stand up through 5. Danny Salazar in his return to the starting rotation has allowed 1 hit. He has faced the minimum through 5 innings and has struck out 7. He hasn't started in almost 2 months, but you wouldn't know it the way he's thrown the ball here tonight.
Yeah, I felt it might be a good matchup for Danny against the Blue Jays because they have guys that, yeah, if you make a mistake, they can hurt you, but they can certainly be pitched to as a team.
Urshela in on the grass has an easy play. He throws out Kevin Pillar, 1 down. Back down to Andre.
Well, I know the pitch count will come up at some point in time as you talk about how long Danny Salazar has been from starting the game here with the Indians. Last time out for Columbus threw 84 pitches, got into the 6th inning, threw a couple extra after. Tito doesn't feel like he has to put a number on it because they built him up over the last 2 or 3 starts, so he could probably go over 100 if things are going well still for him.
Yeah, and he also said stressful innings too,
right.
And he's been stress-free tonight. So he's already into the 6th inning. He's done a heck of a job. He really has.
Andre Arch, think about this for a second. All right, look, going back to his last start, which was May 27th, he went 5 1/3, 102 pitches.
Yeah.
5 2/3 before that, 105 pitches. Heck, he had a start against these Blue Jays back on May 10th.
Remember,
he went 2 2/3 and made 69 pitches. He's not even at 69, and he's 1 out into the 6th.
Yeah, he's 5 1/3. Absolutely.
Yeah. We had this conversation before the game, though. We talked about establishing the fastball, and the thing is, you know, you go back to spring training, and he was working on. Remember, he was throwing more curveballs and throwing more sliders, and it's almost like he got away from who he is. He's a fastball pitcher, right?
He did get away from who he was. There's no doubt about it. And you know what? And it kept going downhill. It spiraled out of control. Now, Andre, he went down there. Didn't they have to remake him? Really, it's more of a mental thing than physical. Once his shoulder was okay, right?
Oh, yeah. Once they got past the shoulder issue or what was bothering him with the shoulder, they kind of said to him, "Well, why do you think it's hurting?" And and they went through his mechanics. And we always kind of laugh when Tito says, "Well, we're going to work on him first, just playing catch." They had him just play catch for a couple of days, and they just wanted to watch every step of him throwing and playing catch, and that's when they start breaking down.
Go ahead.
Getting his legs underneath him. And we always hear that for quarterbacks.
Zimmer, nice catch in center,
Yeah,
2 down.
But you say it for shortstops, we say it for all guys. You got to get your legs underneath you.
Yeah, and actually it's starting right from square one. Let's start it all over again to get back to the basics and keep it simple. And it's been pretty simple. He came out right from the first inning firing seeds. He never threw his first off-speed pitch or breaking ball until his 20th pitch of the game. And that's who he is.
Like Moses, he's been very businesslike this entire start.
I would agree.
Entire day. It's been no messing around, not worried about what his stirrups look like, not worrying about what his glove looks like.
I don't even see stirrups tonight, which is nice.
That's what I mean. He has been very busy.
Andre,
don't put down the stirrups.
Andre,
stop it.
In all honesty, can you remember a start where he has come out with the kind of intense glare that you've seen from him? I haven't seen it. Not like this.
No, I haven't. Not in a long time. I said that even last night. Usually the day before the start, he's a guy that'll play card tricks with you the day he starts. With anybody if you go in the clubhouse. He has not been that guy in the 2-3 days we've been back here.
Ground ball to third.
Go.
Routine. Urshela sets, throws, got him. Another 10-pitch, razor-like efficient inning for Danny Salazar. He's retired the last 11 in a row. And Berea getting ready for the NFL season. Thursday, Sports Time Ohio, streaming on Fox Sports Go. Indians go to work here in the bottom of the 6th, leading by a run. Francisco Lindor walked and scored in the 4th. You know, it's funny. We think of baseball in terms of there are a lot of individual battles you have to win in this game, like hitters, for example. But in the end, it is still a team game. But I think back to what Carlos Baerga told us about the great advice that he got from Paul Molitor, and that sort of gives you the insight into the great hitters and how what makes them great is there isn't a degree of selfishness. You know, I got to get a hit. I got to get one hit today, or I've got to get on base today. You get a walk today. But by doing that for you help the we in team, because if you're getting on base, you've got a chance to score a run, which tonight, so far, that's been it.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's a fair ball over the bag, and Brantley is off to the races. Bautista gives chase in the corner. He scoops it up. Michael will stop at second with a one-out double.
Michael now 2 for 3. This one went right over the bag at first. First extra base hit. And really, there's only 5 hits in this game, and Brantley just got it on the ground. Everything's been on the ground, and watch it go right over the bag. So that'll give him a chance now with a runner in scoring position to add on to this 1-0 ball game.
Edwin Encarnacion grounded out in the 4th, but that brought home the only run so far. Gets away. Michael goes to 3rd. From up here, it looked like Martin had a piece of it, and it wasn't in the dirt. But I'll have to take a look at the replay, see what the official score decides. What do you think?
That's probably going to be a wild pitch. I would think so. That's not as easy as it looks in slow motion, I'll tell you that.
He's expecting that ball to be inside.
He's great behind the plate, man. He digs him out. If Martin doesn't catch it, that's a tough one to give him a pass ball on.
And it is officially ruled a wild pitch.
And it's only the 2nd wild pitch. But what it does, it brings the infield in, and I'm still not sure he's going to want to pitch to Edwin, see if he's going to try and get him out 2-0 here.
Edwin's hit the ball hard twice against him.
I know.
Both times for outs. And that's inside 3-0.
And Eddie knows that. I think he knows that as well. It's a double play. He's a double play machine that's on the mound.
And now they're intentionally going to put him on.
Okay. That makes sense. But now you got Ramirez. That's the 3rd walk now for Strowman.
This is, I think, you're in a tough spot as a manager or even as a pitcher. Whoever's making a call on this deal, because you're thinking to yourself, all right, you've got Encarnacion. We know, I'm a Blue Jay. I know firsthand the damage he can do. Okay, so we walk him. I've got a great double play pitcher on the mound, but now I'm dealing with one of the league's best hitters. So
yeah, well, your league's best hitter still fails 70% of the time.
So you're playing the odds.
Yeah, you're playing the odds there. Although you know, it may be a tough out, and every hit he's given up for the most part has been on the ground. Some have found holes, but he's hoping he hits one at his defense.
Ground foul.
This is going to be a very good matchup here.
In the air.
Not going to get it done, I don't think.
Brantley tags. Pilar's got a good arm.
Yeah, he's not going to tag.
And he will not try to come home.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets away, but Strowman was right there to back it up.
There you go. Defense 101 right there. He hit his cutoff man. Smoke fake like he was cutting it to keep Encarnacion there. It got by Martin, and then all of a sudden Strowman's backing up. That's why you back up, pitchers. Young kids at home. Look at, he hits his cutoff man. Everything done right, except the ball hops over Martin's glove, but Strowman's right there to back it up. So he did everything right here. Okay, let me go back up. And he knew it wasn't deep enough. That ball took off, but no harm.
So the gamble pays off by walking Encarnacion and pitching to Ramirez. Now Santana, 0 for 2 on the night. Hit it hard his last time up, but Smoke, the first baseman, made a phenomenal short hop pick. Otherwise, that would have given the Indians another run. Santana 0 for 2 tonight, but in his last 16 games coming in, batting .333 with a dozen runs driven in, 10 doubles. So think about that. 10 of his 26 doubles have come in the last 16 games.
Well, his last time up, he hit a vicious line drive right at Justin Smoke at first base. And they had a couple of guys on.
Tied him up, but it didn't get away from Martin because it hit the umpire. He got a break there.
He's checking his webbing, too. Seeing how'd that ball get away. Well, it's a slider. And he swings through it. It went off the end of his glove right there and hit his leg, and it hit the umpire's back leg.
Tell you what, that's the third time in the inning that he's had a ball go by him. One was a ruled a wild pitch. One was a throw from the outfield that Strowman was to back it up. That one hit the umpire. Fouled right back. It's a huge spot in the game. 2 on, 2 out. Santana down on the count 0-2. Indians up a run. Now low. Whatever was bothering Strowman earlier in the game with regards to the middle finger on his pitching hand doesn't seem to be an issue any longer. Weekly top to second. And the inning is over. 2 stranded here in the 6th. Indians still lead at 1-0. The Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. By the stylish 2017 Kia Optima and by Smart Path Forward. Lakeland Community College is your Smart Path Forward. Start now. Arch, as you know, it always helps to know people in life. And you take a look at these two guys. On the left is Jackson Shelton. His dad, Derek, is one of the coaches for the Blue Jays, formerly here with the Indians. And on the right is Connor Kahnke. His dad, Brandon, the longtime groundskeeper here at Progressive Field.
There
so
you have it.
They're serving as the Blue Jays bat boys here tonight.
Well connected.
Yeah. Connor's done a great job for years hanging around the ball yard. He's going off to college in the fall.
Is that right?
Yeah. Jackson, I think Jackson, he's not I think he's just into high school. I think he's a freshman going into his sophomore year in high school down in Florida now.
But when they're kids, they grew up around the ballpark, so they know everything about it.
Yep. Yeah, that's the crazy thing about as we get older. 1-1 pitch. It's the little kids we see grew up that sort of mark the time. They're like, wait a minute, I remember when you were just knee high, or when you now you're going to high school. What the heck?
Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it? They grow up quickly.
Weak chopper, gonna be a tough play.
Hurry.
Urshela, bare hand grab, throws, got him. Oh my! Spectacular effort by Giovanni Urshela. Look at that smile.
Well, he knew. He didn't rush it. He knew he was going to have to hurry. And he's going to charge it with the bare hand all in one motion and throw a seed and a strike to boot. Beautiful play right there by Urshela. Well done. And takes the roll. He knew it was online, too. He didn't even have to look.
Russell Martin looks at the ball in the dirt, down to Andre.
You know, the one thing with the injuries to Jason Kipnis and some other things that have happened this season that has made Terry Francona happy is to be able to see the young infielders that this team has been able to develop. He says when you're the type of market that they're in, you got to develop guys, and he loves that when they come to the ballpark. He doesn't know what he's going to get from the bat when it's Eric Gonzalez or if it's Gio Urshela, but he says, I know that I'm going to get great defense, and he says he appreciates that, and he points to the farm system being able to do that, how great they've been so far.
I mean, the last thing you want is to call a kid up, put him in a spot where you know it's going to be tough for him to just kind of keep his head above water, and then have him go out there and throw it all over the place or clank one off of his glove here and there. These guys, though, they step right in. You don't miss a thing defensively.
No, it's a lot like, that's the most important thing when it comes to catchers. They got to call a good game before they hit. Well, that also goes with if you're in the middle of the infield or anywhere, really.
Oh, Andre, nice move to get out of the way there.
Yeah, he got out of the way and it nailed Danny. He ducked right in front of him. Way to go, Andre. It didn't get you. Look at him. Oh, you okay, Dan? Better you than me.
Oh, poor Dan.
I'm glad we caught that. Danny's down. He's going on the DL tomorrow.
Dan's missing a rib right now. 3-2 popped him up. Left field, Brantley. That's a long wait for this one. He's got it, 2 down.
Well, fans, you can join Slider and his fellow mascot friends for Slider's birthday celebration. That'll all take place tomorrow. It's also KeyBank Kids Fun Day. Kids can run the bases after the game. And it is presented by Cleveland Clinic's Children. So come on out to the ballpark. Should be a nice day. Everything looks good.
Expecting another pretty good sized crowd. I don't think it's sold out, but we're kind of moving in that direction.
It could be.
Go online, Indians.com. Check out the ticket information for tomorrow if you want to come down. See the series finale. Reds come in for a makeup game on Monday, and then 3 with the Angels Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday at noon. Donaldson steps away. Just a ball off the plate, maybe. One of the few times he's been behind a hitter.
Yeah, but this is one of the more efficient games I've seen Danny Salazar pitch in a very long time.
And he comes right back to 2-0, Challenge City fastball. Here it is. And they just have not been able to catch up to him tonight.
Slider.
Andre mentioned that when Danny had that first inning in which he blew him away, struck all 3 out, it invigorated the dugout. Imagine what it did for those guys down in the bullpen to see a performance like this inning after inning, and now we're getting late in the game. They've got to feel really pumped up by how well he's gone out and thrown tonight.
No question. No question. Hey, look, by rights, this should be a 0-0 ball game. Strowman's matched him up pretty much pitch for pitch. It's been a good game.
Oh, he got him looking at 97 at the knees. 8th strikeout of the night for Danny Salazar. He continues to mow him down, and Gio Urshela smiling like the cat that ate the canary.
Out a one-hitter here in the 7th inning as the Indians lead the Jays 1-0 at Progressive Field in Arizona tonight, taking on the Nationals. Top prospect Anthony Banda making his major league debut, and Bryce Harper saying welcome to the show, kid. His 25th home run of the season put the Nats ahead 1-0. It's now 1-1. They're in the 3rd inning in Arizona. Let's send it back over to Matt and Rick for the call here in the bottom of the 7th. Fellas, take it away.
Thanks, Al. Abraham Almonte going to lead it off here in the bottom of the 7th for Cleveland. Marcus Strowman, just over 81 pitches, delivers in a swing and a miss. Almonte 0 for 2 on the night. Danny Salazar has made 86 pitches through 7 one-hit shutout innings, and it looks like his night is over. Swing and a miss. It's his first start in almost 2 months. Otherwise, Tito would probably keep him out there. But given that body language and how chatty he is, that kind of looks like a guy who's mentally done for the night.
You could not have expected anything any better than what he has given you tonight.
No.
I mean, that's a dream right there. Coming out and pitching like Danny has. That's been outstanding. Well, let's see if you can add on. You'd like to get another run or two if you could. This guy, Marcus Stroman's been very good in his own right.
Swung out and missed. Almonte down on strikes. That's the 5th K for Strowman. Down to Andre.
All right, you guys know how this thing works. Manning's up there putting people in the DL with broken ribs, and now people's phones are going off. Dan, our man right next to me, is okay. It didn't hit his ribs.
I see the bruise, though.
He does have a bruise.
Yeah.
He does have a bruise.
There it is.
But he's doing all right. Dan's going to be all right. Everybody back at home, his brother and family.
Yeah.
He's all right. He just had it's okay.
What'd you do? What'd you buy him,
He's not
Andre?
going to the DL, and he's going to be good to go tomorrow, he told me.
Yeah, as you diving out of the way.
So stop playing a doctor up there.
Yeah. Dr. Arch here.
Jan goes 0 for 2.
I know one thing. If I was down in that trench, I wouldn't sit behind you.
You'd have a flak jacket on.
Oh,
metal
I'd have
helmet.
catcher's gear on.
Low and away. Strowman misses with the fastball. I've seen him at times in a number of different occasions where he'll make these sort of gestures. They're almost like mental reminders to himself. Keep that front shoulder closed, drive through the ball, all these little different things that he tells himself. But every once in a while you'll catch him just doing it in front of 40,000 people. Down on the dirt.
Well, whatever it takes, and he's making adjustments on the fly. He's just telling himself little things.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach.
We're talking about their situation as well.
Up and in, he missed ball 4, and that's probably what they were just discussing. You know, how much has he expended? Even though he's matched Danny pretty much, he's given up the 1 run, although truly wasn't his fault. And the big difference, though, is he's had to work out of some trouble last couple innings. He had, 2 on, 1 out in the 6th. He worked out of that without a longer run. He had 2 on, 1 out on the 4th, and that's when the Indians scored their only run.
Well, and there you'll see the bullpen is up and getting loose.
Giovanni Urshela takes inside ball 1. He had a base hit in the 5th.
They're going to slow him down and let Martin go out and let that bullpen get loose. That'll give me time to send out some birthday wishes. Happy birthday to Carl Bardo, turning 68 today.
Yeah.
Carl, happy birthday to you. Ray Croft is 88 from Sugar Creek. Happy birthday.
Ryan Tepera getting loose in the Toronto bullpen.
This is a situation too. You could start your runner here and try and do it again with hit the ball on the ground with Urshela. I know with Gomes at first it's not speed, but you're not looking for it.
Call to strike, and it's now 1-2. I see what you were saying too, and I was thinking to myself before that pitch was coming, a young hitter like Gio and some of the younger guys, they're almost better off when you tell them, hey, hit a ball,
put the ball in play.
Right.
But now, gets the 2 strikes. That's what I'm saying right there. Do you try and get it into a situation where you can get a guy in the scoring position?
2 down takes us to the top of the order. Don't forget, tomorrow, if you can't come down to the ballpark, we'll wrap it up for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. Corey Kluber returns to the mound. Our coverage begins at 12:30. First pitch at 1 right here on Sports Time Ohio, streaming on Fox Sports Go. Before the game tonight, Corey Kluber was recognized as the Indians' nominee for the Bob Feller Act of Valor Award. Corey does a lot of work in terms of charities and with veterans in particular.
Well, that'd be a great award to win if you're a Cleveland Indian.
He and his
great Bob Feller.
Yeah, he and his wife Amanda visit the Louis Stokes Cleveland VA Medical Center during the year, and Kluber's kids come to the ballpark each week. I think they announced that. Is it during the World Series or is it right after the World Series they announced it?
I think it's in
November?
Yes,
right after the World Series.
I think it's Veterans Day.
So good luck to Corey, the nominee for the Bob Feller Act of Valor Award. 1-1 pitch on the way to Bradley Zimmer with 2 down. And a swing and a miss, 1-2. Hall of Famer Bob Feller. One of a kind. Proud to be able to call him one of our own. 1-2. And he got him to go fish. So Marcus Strowman with his 5th strikeout of the night. And after 7 innings of play, it's the Indians 1, the Blue Jays 0. form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Boy, you don't see many ball games like this anymore. 1-0, an absolute classic pitchers duel. Both guys really good tonight. Danny Salazar has been incredible. And with that, it's the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen to the incomparable Andrew Miller, who will try to preserve a 1-0 lead here in the 8th. His 41st appearance on the year, and this the 95th game of the year for the Tribe. 1.53 ERA, 47 innings, 68 strikeouts. He's got 4, 5, and 6. Couple of switch hitters, and then the right-handed hitting Steve Pearce due up third. Danny Salazar tonight went 86 pitches. 61 were strikes. 57 were 95 miles an hour or above. First ball swinging deep right field, down the line, slicing, and gone. And we are tied at 1 on the first pitch of the 8th inning.
There's that guy we were talking about, Justin Smoke. He has great plate coverage, and one swing on one pitch will tie this ball game. Only their second hit. And Smoke from the right side of the plate. That's his 6th homer. He's hitting .397 from the right side of the plate, and this one shoots it the other way. Fastball away at 95. He catches up to that one, and we have a new ball game. Wow.
Kendry Morales takes ball 1. How do you like that?
That's unbelievable.
After 14 in a row were retired by Danny Salazar through 7 innings. Danny allowed 1 hit tonight, a leadoff single in the 3rd. The next batter hit into a double play. It was the only base runner of the game for Toronto before that home run by Smoke. So a brand new game now, as Morales 0 for 2 digs in. He's a much better hitter from this side of the plate, but that's against your run-of-the-mill left-handers. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Danny Salazar came out tonight, struck out the side in the 1st inning, and that certainly was a preview of what we were about to witness tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. Danny had some really low pitch count innings. This is one of the best games I've ever seen him pitch. Pitched to the minimum through 7. Gave up 1 hit. He did not walk anybody. He was ahead in the count. He got a lot of outs on 3 pitches or less. It was fun to watch.
Of the 21 outs he recorded, 9 came on 3 pitches or less. So almost half the outs were, you know, a couple of pitches in, bing, bang, boom, get him out of there, move it on.
For Andrew Miller, that was his 3rd home run allowed. And I'm thinking that I can remember the other 2, weren't they, against the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Here. Cody Bellinger and Kiki Hernandez are the only. That's the 3rd home run he's allowed. And
Base hit on left field by Steve Pearce. And the Blue Jays have 1 on with 1 out here in the 8th for Kevin Pillar.
Stepping in now.
There's a breaking ball down and away, and it almost looked like Urshela was over on the line. But even if he was off it, I don't think he would have been able to catch a line drive. Pearce gets on. Only the 3rd hit for Toronto, 2nd in the inning.
Kevin Pillar's the only guy who hit Danny Salazar tonight. And it was a, no doubt about it, single into left center field. And now he hits a soft line at 2nd for out number 2. And the left-handed hitting Ryan Goins steps to the plate. Interesting choice in a tie game in which you have the go-ahead run aboard late. He'd stick with Goins. He's got the right-handed hitting Troy Tulowitzki on the bench. I suppose he's probably figuring against a guy like Andrew Miller, it doesn't really matter. Left, right. Although I think lefties, they have less than a good chance against him.
Well, it's not easy for anybody. You know, I think you throw that left-right split out the door with him, with this guy on the mound. He's one of the best relievers in the game, if not the.
Goins is out looking, but Justin Smoke, with his 27th home run of the year on the first pitch of the inning, has tied the game at 1.
Some day baseball that'll take place Thursday. The Indians will host the Angels, closing out this homestand. It's a 12-10 start, and 10,000 fans will receive a rally together picnic blanket. That's courtesy of Liberty Ford. Great tickets remain, so just go to Indians.com to get them. And the Indians would like to get a run here.
Yeah, well, Marcus Stroman's back out there for the Blue Jays as we go to the 8th inning. Just shy of 100 pitches for the night. He'll face Francisco Lindor 0 for 2 with a walk. He scored the Indians' only run in the 4th. Chases a breaking ball for strike 1.
Yeah, this guy has been on his game too, Marcus Stroman. We knew he would be. He had one tough inning. It was a 21 pitch 4th inning, but he had an 8-pitch 3rd, 10 outs on 3 pitches or less. 12 ground ball outs as always for Marcus Stroman, and you know, 1 ground ball double play. And actually, that's the way the Indians scored. It should have been a double play that was turned, that Donaldson didn't field cleanly and only had the chance to get 1 out, and that's how the run scored. And it was Lindor that did that.
Threw the bat at it, and that's an easy out to start the bottom of the 8th.
You get a look at Marcus Strowman. There's a little slider there to get the strikeout, and boy, he's been in total command, and he has been getting the ground ball. There's his double play. That was turned and just jamming people and getting swings and misses, and this guy's tough to hit. He looked out at him earlier in the game with that middle finger as a hot spot or something on it, and it was he's been fine.
Slider strike to Michael Brantley, who has 2 hits for Cleveland. Down low, 2-1. Just missed outside. 3 balls and a strike. Strowman was begging. He wanted it, didn't get it. And so now Brantley can sit and wait for his pitch. Strowman more than likely will try to work the edges for something perfect. And he can't do it. Ball 4. Go ahead run aboard with 1 out on the bottom of the 8th. Edwin Encarnacion to the plate.
Walk number 5 for Strowman.
By the way, I mentioned last inning, Ryan Goins came up against Andrew Miller, the shortstop, lefty. You got Troy Tulowitzki over on the bench. I guess late in the game last night, when Tulowitzki got his last hit, remember they took him out for a pinch runner.
Yeah.
He re-aggravated a groin problem. And that's why he's not in the lineup tonight. They're hoping he'll be able to go tomorrow, but that's probably why
I got you.
He didn't use him. Foul back.
Well, for Strowman, that's a season high in walks. He had 4 at Milwaukee back on May 24th. And here's a pitch that, oh boy, Eddie wants back. That's a slider he left middle of the plate. He's lucky to get it back.
Missed inside. 1-1. Second straight sellout crowd. 5th of the year. 34,569. Treated to a great pitcher's duel tonight. 1-1, last of the 8th. And a foul back. 1-2. Jose Ramirez waits on deck. Encarnacion picked up the only RBI for the Indians in the 4th on his ground out that got Francisco Lindor home from 3rd. He held on, and Encarnacion is the 6th strikeout victim of Strowman here tonight. 2 down.
Well, there's another one away, but he got a piece of it right into the glove of Martin.
Jose Ramirez takes a strike. 7 strikeouts for Strowman on the night. He's given up 4 hits. 4 walks, 1 was intentional.
Well, Brantley's got to think if you find a gap out there, if you're Ramirez, you got to pick him up and put him down and get ready to go. 2 outs.
Way outside. Jose has batted .363 at home this year. Ripped foul.
Boy, he really held that ball a while on Ramirez, but it didn't seem to bother him.
Strowman having a little conversation with himself out there, knowing full well this is perhaps the final pitch of the night for him. Rip foul again.
Well, for Strowman, he has made 119. That's a high for him this year. That came against Baltimore 4 starts ago, and this guy is Strowman has made the pitch when he's had to, and this is going to be his last hitter any way you look at it. I would think so. 2-2 count to Ramirez. One more pitch before Brantley will take off if it gets that far. Nice changeup.
In addition to the gaudy numbers at home, overall, when you look at his last 49 games, this is what's incredible. And this is what Carlos Baerga was alluding to earlier. 49 games, he's batted .376 with 43 runs scored. That's an incredible period of just being lights out at the plate. 2-2. Line drive base hit into left field. He's 2 for 3 on the night. Brantley stops at second, and now we'll see the manager John Gibbons make the wave to the bullpen as Marcus Strowman gave it everything he had tonight.
Yes, he did, and I'll tell you what a great at bat by Ramirez. That's what you get when you stay on the ball. You hit it where it's pitched. He goes the other way. He's been on base 3 of the 4 times tonight, and I'll tell you what, just a nice at bat. And Strowman, what a great job he did tonight too. Tell you what, he left it all on the field right there, and now it's going to be up to their bullpen to try and get out of it. But a very nice outing for Marcus Strowman.
Ryan Tepera will be the new Blue Jays pitcher when we come back. 1-1 game. Tribe has 2 on with 2 out, and the new pitcher is Ryan Tepera, 29-year-old from Texas, born in Houston. And Tepera made his major league debut with the Blue Jays in 2015, pitching in 32 games out of the bullpen. Last year, just 20 games of work out of the pen. And when you look at his numbers this year, he's done very well with 5 wins. He's been the vulture. 42 appearances, though. He's quickly becoming a go-to guy. He's limited the opposition to a .187 average. Foul. Pretty much just a fastball guy. He'll cut it, he'll sink it. He only needs 1 out to get out of the inning, but he's a guy that can get the ground ball and has induced 5 double plays and 25 opportunities late in games this year. Popped up foul, back out of play.
Well, now it's going to be a battle for Carlos to stay alive. Went after the first one and chased one upstairs there for strike number 2.
Up high with a fastball. Blue Jays wanted it. Tepera wanted it, but just out of the strike zone barely. Blue Jays have a shift on. They've got 3 to the right side. Marnie way out in shallow right. In the dirt onto the house. Santana didn't get hit by it.
How about that pick by Martin there? You're right. That's a tough one to even see if you're a catcher when it goes down into the feet of the hitter and then all of a sudden makes a backhanded scoop on the short hop. That's unbelievable, because I'm surprised he didn't lose it in his feet or his pants or whatever. You didn't see it, but boy, what a pick. It saves 2 bases anyway. And now Martin wants to go out and have a talk with his pitcher. But a nice pick, and it gets back to a 2-2 count. Right now, base hit. Put it in play.
Brantley, the go-ahead run at second. Ramirez down at first. Outfield straight up deep. Big hole left side of the infield with a shift on. Santana fouls it out of play to the left. It's a fastball.
Elevate.
Martin wants it up.
Yeah,
Didn't get it there.
No, he got it belled high, and a lot of times Carlos can get the barrel of the bat to that pitch. Martin wanted it higher, but Carlos fouled it off.
inside, didn't miss by much, a full count. So now the runners are going to get a great head start here.
Well, no surprise. It's gone from 0-2 now to 3-2. As it never gets easy when you're sitting back watching. Crowd getting to their feet. They want to see a run here.
This sellout crowd up on its feet, roaring here in the 8th. Tepera's payoff pitch. No, he turns, nothing doing at second.
That's good. You have to make sure that he goes home first. Don't worry about the head start.
The fans look at that like, it's such a buzzkill. Throw the ball to the plate.
No. The Indians this year 7-12 when the game is decided from the 7th inning or later.
Here we go. The payoff pitch. The runners go.
Yes, he
Strikes
did.
him out. Boy, oh boy. 2 stranded in the 8th. We'll head to the 9th, tied at 1. With the highlights, Andre will have the clubhouse covered. Get all the reaction from this one, and it's been a great ball game. Can't wait to hear from Danny Salazar and from Tito and some of the guys on what they thought of how Danny pitched. He was electric tonight, electrifying. Unfortunately, Justin Smoke got into one, hit his 27th home run of the year on the first pitch of the 8th inning off Andrew Miller, right down the line and right, hit the railing just the top of the wall, and that tied the game. So now we go to the 9th, 1-1. Cody Allen will face Darwin Barney, Jose Batista, and Russell Martin. Barney 0 for 2 has struck out, grounded out. Looks at a fastball up high. Elsewhere in the Central tonight, Twins shutting out the Tigers 5-0 through 5, and the Royals and White Sox 2-2 in the 6th. High again, 2-0. Three balls, no strikes. And Darwin Barney figure he's going to take at least one, if not maybe a couple here, trying to get himself on board. He's 1 for his last 20 at the plate and 2 for his last 27 overall. Cody walks the leadoff man.
Certainly not the way you want to start the 9th inning.
Storylines brought to you by Mazda. Danny Salazar's fastball command was impeccable.
Yeah,
tonight.
the best it's ever been. The best I've ever seen.
And Marcus Strowman, he competed tonight. I wouldn't say he had maybe his best stuff of all time. But
agreed. He walked 5.
Really
That's
worked
season
hard.
high. But it was a great matchup, boy.
Jose Bautista for 3. And he looks at a ball up high.
Right now, Cody Allen, 5 out of 6 have been out of the strike zone. He's not throwing his fastball for a strike. Tried the curveball right there, and Gomes is going to jog out and have a talk with him.
Almost got the feeling that watching Strowman tonight, in addition to dealing with whatever was going on with the finger on his pitching hand, is that he was watching Danny pitch and said, "Uh-oh, I can't give anything away tonight. I have got to."
Well,
and in all fairness, he probably should have not have allowed a single run, because the bobble by Donaldson cost him the only run of the game.
Totally agree. And Salazar didn't give up anything. But Justin Smoke came to save the day.
And it's 1-1 here in the 9th, but Cody Allen can't find the strike zone right now, and that's troubling with nobody throwing in the bullpen. He's missed 6 out of 7. High fly ball, left field, fairly deep but playable here. Brantley sets and try to go to second base as Barney. The throw's in time, and they got him! Double play! Michael Brantley says no, sir. What a great job, too. You could see it coming. He set himself up because he knew Barney might try that.
Absolutely. He got himself in good throwing position. Ramirez went to get the ball, to get it back. Now Barney's going to go back and tag. He probably should have stopped because it was a beautiful throw by Michael Brantley. And here comes the tag on the slide. They get him. Beautiful. Look at him set himself. He knew it. He expected it. He anticipated it, and makes a good throw. And Ramirez applies the tag. So a double play, 7-4.
That was outstanding. Just the kind of thing you'd expect in a game like this.
Well, what it does, it helps out Cody Allen right there. It takes that base runner off the leadoff walk, and that big play defensively. Watch, see if he relaxes and goes in and starts throwing strikes now.
Weak ground ball hit to second. Oh, what a play defensively by Michael Brantley. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 1. A great throw by Dr. Smooth. In last August, the Indians went into the bottom of the ninth, down a run against Toronto. Jose Ramirez homered to tie it, and then Tyler Naquin won it with an incredible inside the park walk-off homer. Here in the bottom of the ninth, the new pitcher, Ryan Tepera, got the only out in the eighth to end the inning. He gives way to Joe Biagini, who's bounced back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation. And he's got the bottom third of the Indians' order. Abraham Almonte, Yan Gomes, and Giovanni Urshela.
Indians looking for their second walk-off win of the year here. And couldn't be a better time than right now tonight with a full house. But it's, yeah, 7, 8, 9 is going to have to do it.
Curveball, ball one. Takes a strike.
Not a bad idea, trying to get yourself on base, make him get in the strike zone. You always want to get that leadoff man aboard if possible.
One ball and 2 strikes to count on Almonte, who was 0 for 3. And he's out looking.
Took a curveball right there, and he knew it. Straight over the top, right down into the strike zone. 80 miles an hour, good curveball, good pitch, first out.
Bo shoots one foul on the right side. Yan 0 for 2 with a walk. Fouls that over toward the Toronto dugout. One bottom of the ninth. Base is empty with 1 out, 0-2 pitch, and a breaking ball in the dirt.
Well, that's how he retired Almonte, going with that curveball. And you can see is probably his out pitch. Wanted to see if Gomes might chase that one. He did not.
Same pitch, same result, 2-2. Biagini was originally a 26th round pick of the San Francisco Giants back in 2011 out of Cal Davis. And before last season, the Blue Jays took him in the Rule 5 draft. Well, it was 0-2. Now it's a full count. I guess if you're yelling Gomes, you got to sit fastball because he tried throwing that curveball over and over again.
Yeah,
You can't throw it for a strike.
You're right. Throw fastball. If he throws you the curveball, you just hope you adjust or you foul it off.
Yeah. There's the fastball.
Had a good swing.
Right
he
back.
was sitting right on it. He had a good swing at it. I mean, this is right down the middle.
I know guys will guess, but I would think most hitters with 2 strikes, they're all sitting fastball and just trying to react to off speed. But every once in a while you see a guy take one right down the slot, you know he was guessing breaking ball.
Well, yeah, but 3-2, you got to look fastball.
Up high, ball 4. Winning run aboard with 1 out in the 9th, and we'll see if Tito goes for a pinch runner. He does immediately, and Eric Gonzalez will come off the bench and run for Gomes at first.
For the Indians, pinch runner at first base, running for Gomes will be number 9, Eric Gonzalez. Stepping in for the Tribe is number 39, Giovanni Urshela.
And it brings up Giovanni Urshela. Gio 1 for 3 tonight. Singled back in the 5th. Up and away, ball 1. What we talked about back in the 7th inning with, of course, it was Gomes running at first at that time with Urshela at the plate. Does that enter the thinking at all here?
Not right now. I think you're going to give him a chance to get a base knock.
High fly ball, left field, deep, Pierce's back at the wall, makes the catch. And back to first goes Gonzalez, 2 down. Oh, so close to maybe ending this baby. Giovanni Urshela flies to the base of the wall. 2 away.
Well, it looked like it had a chance. I kept looking at Pierce, and it was a fastball right there. He kept going back, and he ran out of room. But it comes straight down at the end of the warning track. No siree. Oh, look at it. He knows he had it. He just didn't center it out.
And so now with 2 down, Bradley Zimmer to the plate, and Gonzalez awkwardly stumbled going back to the bag there.
Well, he was thinking head first, but he didn't have to. What he should look for here is look for the curveball in the dirt and get to second base if possible.
Curveball in for a strike.
Yeah, he has to start his very high to get it in the strike zone.
Down and in, he missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out of play. And Zimmer's in the hole. A ball and 2 strikes. Runner goes, pitch is low, throw down, not in time, and Eric Gonzalez
Beautiful.
has a stolen base, and now the winning run is in scoring position.
See, I like that chance they took right there, because even if he is thrown out, then you'd have Zimmer leading off the next inning. But you got to take the chance, and you can see Martin's throw had a little tail to it. He realized Gonzalez had a good jump, That helmet came over his eyes. He didn't know where the throw was, but he's in scoring position. And now a base hit could win the ball game.
Bradley Zimmer trying to join Michael Brantley as the only Indians to deliver walk-off game-winning hits this year. The 2-2 is low, full count. Brantley's, believe it or not, came on opening day at home. It was against the White Sox back on April 11th.
Yeah, 10 innings, right?
Yeah,
the
only walk-off at home this year. And the payoff pitch struck him out looking. We've got extra innings tonight. 1-1. Bonus baseball here at Progressive Field tonight, 1-1 as we go to the 10th inning. Cody Allen will come back out after working a scoreless ninth. He was rescued in part thanks to a beautiful throw in left field by Michael Brantley. That double play gave Michael Brantley his 7th assist of the year, and that would potentially put him in second in the American League. If you look at the numbers when the day began, the league leader had 8. I forget who it was right at the top, but that would give him 7. And you know what? His career best was 12. So he's not far off of that when you think about still.
Milky Cabrera had 8.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Still big chunk of the year left to go. Josh Donaldson 0 for 3 has struck out all 3 times tonight. And did he go? He did not. Both Zimmer and Brantley have 7 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good when you're talking about your center fielder and your left fielder. The 2-1. Curveball missed high. 3 balls in the strike.
Still having a tough time finding the strike zone for Cody. 14 pitches, only 4 strikes. He was able to get 2 outs on that one play, which certainly helped.
Good fastball fouled back. Full count. Coming back with that same pitch. A routine ground ball to short. But Lindor couldn't come up with it. And so on the air, Donaldson is aboard, and the Blue Jays have the go-ahead run on to start the 10th.
Well, that certainly is a rarity. When you see that, that's you're more than shocked than anything else. Lindor just his 7th error.
Looked like that last hop just kind of sped up on him a little bit.
So they do get their leadoff man aboard.
Now Justin Smoak. By the way, that home run that Smoak hit off Andrew Miller for the Blue Jays' only run that tied it in the 8th. Of the 27 home runs he's hit this year, it's only the 6th he's hit batting right-handed.
Right, but he has a very good average right-handed.
It's his 22nd home run since May the 11th, and that's the most home runs in baseball.
Well, look at him. He just stayed on a fastball, man. He let it track deep into the strike zone. It was right down the line. And he's big and strong enough, and Miller can't believe it, but it was a fastball up and out over the plate that he was able to get the barrel to. And takes it out the other way. Career year for Smoak.
You think about the kind of year that Aaron Judge is having and some of the home run numbers. But he's hit more than anybody since May 11th. Indians had that 3-man shift on the right side of the infield for Smoak. Double barrel action now in the trot pin. He threw it by him, 2-2. Ryan Shaw, the right-hander. Tyler Olson, the lefty, made his Indians debut last night. Inside, he missed full count.
Fastball just in off the plate, but he has not given him anything out over the plate where he can extend the arms, and I like that thought.
Runner goes, payoff pitch. It's in the dirt, ball 4. So now the Blue Jays have 2 on with nobody out, and now you got trouble. Kenry Morales 0 for 3 will be the batter.
Well, the error set up the inning, but you're still just 1 pitch away from getting 2 outs with Morales at the plate. If you can get him to hit it on the ground. But Cody's having a tough time throwing strikes. I know he wanted to be a little careful there, and I don't blame him to Justin Smoak. That's the guy you don't want to beat you. So now he's really got to bear down and work hard.
Twelve of his 17 home runs have come from this side of the plate. But Morales is just a .232 hitter against right-handed pitching compared to .329 against lefties. Oh, what a curveball. And Morales thought he had a hanger that he was going to try to tee off on, and he came up empty.
Well, there's the numbers against Cody. He has had no luck or success whatsoever in the 4 at-bats he's had.
The 0-2. Another curveball. That time Morales lays off. Two on, nobody out here in the 10th. Toronto with a great opportunity to take the lead. Threw a fastball by him, 1 away.
Look at that sequence and how he attacks him. Couple of fastballs down and threw a breaking ball and then got him up top.
I think he had one too many French fries in there.
Yeah.
Here is Steve Pearce, 1 for 3. He singled his last time up. Pearce has been swinging a hot bat last 25 games. He's hit .350 with 4 doubles, 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. Curveball just missed outside. Steve Pearce, a guy that, he's been kind of an extra man. Played 102 games with Baltimore back in 14. Primarily his role has kind of been that extra outfielder. Strike called, another curveball. But in those 100 games he played with Baltimore 3 years ago, he hit 21 homers. Last year, between splitting time between Tampa Bay and Baltimore, hit 13 doubles and 13 home runs. Out of play down the right side.
Yeah, but Cody's made it so tough for him tonight. He's won a 7 first pitch strike, so he's had to battle back into a lot of counts.
It's funny when you think of Steve Pearce at 33 years old. He made it to the big leagues in his 3rd professional season with the Pirates. But he's bounced around quite a bit in the last several years in his career. Signed a 2-year deal though with Toronto in the offseason. Cody trying to put him away here. He's already made 29 pitches. I think at least 15 of those were in the 9th inning. Two and two.
Well, Perez wants to find out what's going on right here. This counts deep, 2-2. Sam, why don't you give me a ground ball if you can? I'll try and get 2.
It was a fly ball double play that helped him get out of the 9. The 2-2 to Pierce, and a curveball hit on the ground towards third. Urshela will step on the bag, go to first. Santana can't dig it out. And the Blue Jays are still alive here in the 10th with 2 on and 2 out.
I'm not sure if that ball short hopped him or he just didn't pick it. Or was it a short hop? Let's take a look. Urshela had his foot right on the bag. You step, you throw. Just a short hop, and it hit him in the heel. It sure did. It short hopped him, and Tito's coming out, and I'm having to think that's going to do it for Cody Allen right now. But could have been out of the inning with a good throw or a good pick, one of the two. So the inning will continue.
So Cody leaves with 2 outs in the 10th inning. And Brian Shaw is coming on when we come back. Two outs in the 9th inning. 2 men on base. He'll be facing Kevin Pillar. Ezekiel Carrera running for Justin Smoke. Carrera representing the go-ahead run for Toronto. Shaw facing Pillar. And he misses up high. Ball 1. Low and away.
This inning started with an error by Francisco Lindor and then a walk.
Good pitch. DeMarlo Hale flanking manager John Gibbons in the Toronto dugout. 2-1 pitch fouled back, and it evens it up. The only reason Toronto is in a position to have a chance to win this game is because of the effort they got from starter Marcus Strowman. Kept the Indians at bay while Danny Salazar absolutely carved up Toronto's lineup tonight for 7 one-hit shutout innings in his first start in almost 2 months. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch, and a ground ball. Santana bobbles it, flips it. Shaw beats him to the bag. The side is retired. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th. The Blue Jays strand a pair. Tied at 1. Lindor getting ready to lead things off for Cleveland. He'll be facing a new pitcher for Toronto. The 4th pitcher of the night is Danny Barnes. He's a fastball guy primarily. He does feature a changeup and a slider. Steve Pearce takes over at first base with Justin Smoke leaving the game for the pinch runner, and Ezekiel Carrera is now the left fielder. And Lindor will bat 0 for 3 tonight. He walked and scored the Tribe's only run back in the 4th. Grounded foul. Barnes is kind of a unique pitcher in that he's always been a reliever. Very rarely do guys start as relievers, and that's just all they feature throughout their career. They usually are starters. Maybe they get converted to the bullpen, but he's basically been a reliever his whole career.
Well, you can see that changeup is one of his best pitches he goes to. We'll have to get a new bat.
Yeah, he's not an overpowering fastball guy, so I can see where he's got to rely on a secondary pitch or two. Many times relievers only use 2 pitches, sometimes 3.
May not have to use more than 2 if you can control them.
Up and away. That's his best bolt as a with his fastball, 92. Off-speed pitch fouled away. I think that was another changeup. And the 2-2 now as rain begins to fall at a pretty good clip here. It's foul. On a warm evening, crowd won't mind this. You won't see them scurrying to the exits. There'll be a few folks who will say, I don't want to get wet.
I don't want to get my hair wet.
But a lot of them are like, hey, this actually feels pretty good. 2-2 hit well. Deep right. Batista's going to wave goodbye. Start the fireworks show. It's an emotional game played by emotional men. And the Indians win this one 2-1 in 10 innings. On their first walk-off win since the home opener back in April against the White Sox. As Francisco Lindor belts his 15th home run of the year through a driving rain to absolutely thrill this sellout crowd here tonight. As we get ready now for part 2 of Rockin' Blast. It may be wet, Rick, but I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah, out comes the tarp, and look at Andres getting hooked up. He's ready to go.
Well, let's send it down to Andre, who's with Frankie.
You're going to make me talk until he stay out of breath. You ready to go? What is it about Toronto that brings this out of you guys?
They're a good team, you know. Hats off to Strowman and their pitching staff, and to our pitching staff as well. Everybody did a great job. I finally got the barrel to the ball.
How exciting is it to see Danny come out and pitch the way that he did tonight for where you guys are at right now and how important he is to your staff?
Unreal. The way he came out today, first inning, he was pretty impressive. The next couple of innings, you know, we knew we had Danny back, and that's what we need right now.
You talked about getting the barrel to the ball, and we've had so many conversations, and everybody's a hitting coach. Everywhere you go, everyone's trying to tell you what's best for your career. How do you settle down in that situation and just kind of zero out on what everyone is saying and concentrate on getting a good pitch?
I'm just trying to get the best, one of the top 3 hitters in the league that's behind me, win the game. I wasn't trying to win the game. I was just trying to get on base, let one of the top 3 hitters in the league, which is Brantley or Ramirez, win the game for me.
Well, you won it tonight, so congratulations. Great job. You guys have a chance to get a sweep tomorrow. How important is it to have this win last night and to win tonight after the road trip you guys came off of?
Very important. Every win is so extremely important, especially the way the Twins and Kansas City are playing right now. Every win is important.
We appreciate the time, and I'm glad I didn't get wet. Get out of here. Good job. Back up to you guys up top. Stay dry.
Yeah, you stopped the rain already, Andre. Nice job. He's a man of the people. He wants everybody to enjoy the fireworks show. But what a great job by Francisco Lindor. You heard him, Rick. He's saying, I'm trying to just get a pitch so I can let one of those guys behind me win the game. And as Carlos Baerga said earlier, home runs are a product of taking good swings.
Quality swings, quality at-bats.
Here's our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 strikes, so that's what you're thinking. Let's put it in play. Watch how quick, boom, he is to the baseball. He just Barnes left him a fastball up and out over the plate. He got the barrel to the ball, and there was no doubt about it. And it was a great game, a great pitch game. It's their second walk-off win, and maybe they can build from this game forward like they did last year.
Well, let's hope so, because after that awful road trip out west, they've come back. They've played with some emotion. They've played with some fire. And they've won the first two and a chance to sweep the Blue Jays tomorrow in the series finale. For Rick Manning and Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Indians Live with Alan Jensen and Andre. Straight ahead.